LFA 116 Fremd versus Valente, full card prediction with 14 fights on the entire fight card, but we are only going to be looking at 7 of those 14 fights. Every single fight on the main card: Jacobi Jones, Logan Paxton, Talunzic, Brock Smith, Ryan Charlebois and Jalin Fuller, Pauline Macias, Mann, Jackson Filho, and Michael Stack, Rodney Mondala and Daniel Argueta, and then the main event of Renato, Valente and Josh Fremd right there. Overall, a very, very good fight card. Look, I think I'm going with only one underdog on the card. Potentially, there could be 2. There's a couple of close fights out here, but yeah, I'm going to give my prediction, and the first fight I am going to give my prediction for is going to be in the LFA lightweight division: Jacobi Jones and Logan Paxton in the lightweight division. It's a pretty easy prediction. Logan Paxton, 1 win, 0 losses. 2 years ago, he won the fight by armbar submission. I've checked a little bit of the film. The striking is decent, the grappling is decent, the wrestling is all decent. Nothing really, nothing that I was watching from Logan Paxton really impressed me all too much. Everything I've seen from him has been pretty average, in my opinion. Jacobi Jones, I think, is going to have the better striking, he's going to have the better grappling, he's going to have the better wrestling. He's going to be the overall way, way better fighter in pretty much every factor of the fight. Jacobi is probably going to go out there, take down Logan Paxton really, really easily in the very first round. Maybe TKO, maybe submit him very, very fast. But he's a really good wrestler. Went to college at Colorado State University, Pueblo, and he did really, really good over there. Coming off a decision win over an undefeated fighter in Caleb Hall. Arm triangle, submission win at TKO, decision, knockout, and knockout. He's going to go out there, and I think he's going to dominate the fight in the grappling and wrestling. My prediction right here for Jacobi Jones and Logan Paxton is Jacobi Jones going out there, putting the pressure on the striking, getting that takedown, and TKOing Logan Paxton in the first or second round. Really good fight in the lightweight division. Talunzic and Brock Smith in the welterweight division. Talunzic, very, very solid striking. He's more of a switching stance type of guy. He really switches a lot. Usually he's going for a right hook, straight left, maybe an overhand left every now and then. Front kicks at range, leg kicks, high kicks, all that type of stuff. We've seen his leg kicks have been very, very devastating. I watched the fight with Adam Valcourt. Those leg kicks were absolutely insane. But Talunzic is going to have the speed advantage. He's going to have the volume advantage. He's going to have the technique advantage. He's going to have all of those advantages. In my opinion, 3 wins and 0 losses as an amateur. He had a lot of experience as an amateur right there. So he's got the experience advantage, the volume, the speed. But the power does go Brock Smith. Brock Smith with 4 wins and 1 loss, coming off a lot of submission wins. You wouldn't really think that he'd be much of a striker with all of those submissions, but the last fight that I watched of him, against Zach McGuire, he went out there and he destroyed him in the striking, knocked him down in the first, I would say, 15-20 seconds, got the fight down, and then got the anaconda choke submission. So the striking is definitely there. The grappling could definitely be a way to win, but I do think the takedown defense of Talunzic is going to be way too much. I think he'll defend the takedowns. This will be a striking fight, and the main way that I do see Talunzic winning the fight is literally just to keep range, use the Muay Thai, use the kickboxing at range, come in and out, and win the fight by a decision. Brock Smith, his main way of winning, just close that distance, throw some big shots, and look for the knockout. But overall, the more technical, the faster, the more volume type of guy in Talunzic, I think will win the fight. He's not going to get knocked out. The fight will go all the way, and Talunzic will win the fight by unanimous decision. Really good fight in the welterweight division right there. Jalin Fuller and Ryan Charlebois in the welterweight division. The power on both of these guys is absolutely amazing. Ryan Charlebois coming off 2 first-round knockout wins, one of them being inside the LFA, where he got his opponent's back to the cage, left hook, overhand right, and a bunch of ground and pound. The power he showed in the Andrew Litt fight was absolutely amazing. He's got really good knees in the clinch, elbows, some decent kicks at range, very solid Muay Thai fighter is Ryan Charlebois. As an amateur, has a couple of other knockout wins as well, a couple of submissions on the record as well, but the main way I do see Ryan Charlebois winning is going to be in a more wrestling, grappling heavy game plan and clinching game plan. The fight at range, Jalin Fuller is going to absolutely destroy him. The head movement at Ryan Charlebois, I have not liked what I've seen of it. Jalin Fuller is going to absolutely destroy him on the feet, jabbing him, 1-2ing him. countering with that left hook, countering with a right hook, maybe with a straight or overhand left down the middle. Got really good body kicks, really good leg kicks. I do think the fight does stand the fee that Jalin Fuller will keep the fight at range, have Ryan come to him, and he's going to counter him with a very, very big left hand, and probably knock out Ryan Charlebois. So, in the striking, I have Jalin Fuller knocking out Ryan Charlebois. In the grappling and wrestling, I'd probably say Ryan Charlebois could find a way to out-wrestle Jalin Fuller to a decision, but that is if he can land the takedown, and that is if he can keep the fight in the clinch for quite a while in the fight, which I do not think so. In the last fight, with Tristan Vines against Jalin Fuller's back was to the cage for a little bit. He was clinched up for quite a while, but eventually he got off the cage, had the fight back at range, and then he ended up knocking out Tristan Vines. So this fight, again, Ryan Charlebois needs to clinch and needs to wrestle, needs to grapple for the decision win, and then of course Jalin Fuller just needs to keep range, jab 1-2, stay on the outside, and get the fight by knockout, as Ryan Charlebois is coming in, just counter him with a big right hook and straight left down the middle and knock him out. But overall, it is a very, very close fight. The betting odds for the fight is very, very close. If I can check it right now, I believe Jalin Fuller is the underdog on the fight, which I was very, very surprised about. It's at plus 125, but I'm gonna go with the underdog. I have no idea why he is the underdog, but I'm gonna go Jalin Fuller to win the fight by knockout in the second round. I think he keeps the fight at range, defends the takedown, and then counters him with a big left hand. A really good fight in the welterweight division. Pauline, Macias, and Marina Mann in the women's strawweight division. This fight is mainly going to come down to how much pressure Marina Mann can put on Pauline Macias, because we know the last fight with Pauline Macias and Gloria De Paula, the pressure of Gloria De Paula in that fight was the main reason that Pauline Macias ended up losing, is literally just because she put on the pressure, mixing some takedowns as well, and then she ended up winning that fight by decision. And speaking of pressure, Marina Mann puts on some crazy pressure, likes to get your back to the cage and literally just throw. It doesn't matter about her technique. She goes out there, throws humongous shots, maybe mixes in a takedown or two every now and then, but her power is just absolutely insane. First round knockout within 45 seconds. Literally just went forward and started throwing and got that knockout. Corner stoppage and then a doctor stoppage. So 3 knockout wins as a professional MMA fighter. I do believe she will also have the strength advantage and the wrestling advantage over Pauline Macias. Maybe Pauline might have a little bit of a grappling advantage, submission advantage, things like that. But Marina Mann in the striking is going to absolutely destroy Pauline Macias with her pressure, with her power, and with that strength. And if she can mix in a couple of takedowns without getting submitted by Pauline Macias, that'd be another thing going for her. So the pressure on the feet, the power on the feet, the strength in the clinch and the wrestling, I think overall will get Marina Mann the win. The main way I see Pauline Macias winning, if somehow she can keep range, stay away from the pressure, stay on the outside, in and out strikes, and win the fight by decision. That is the only way, but there's no chance she'll be able to stay away from that pressure of Marina Mann for that long. Marina Mann eventually will close that distance, and eventually will probably win the fight by decision. Really good fight in the women's strawweight division right there. Michael Stack and Jackson Filho in the featherweight division. Jackson Filho with 4 wins and 2 losses. His last fight against Daniel Argueta, who's also on the fight card right there in the main event, the co-main event. That was his last loss 1 year ago. Before that, losing a 3rd round knockout to Wagner Nerona. He's got some solid striking. He has some pretty good power in his hands. Some pretty good knees, some pretty good leg kicks, body kicks, front kicks, all of that type of stuff. But the main way this fight is really going to end up is going to be a domination. Michael Stack is going to win the fight. Jackson is pretty average everywhere. He's got average wrestling, average grappling, average striking, average jiu-jitsu. All of that type of stuff is very average for Jackson Filho. Michael Stack has amazing wrestling. Far better than Jackson Filho right here. Michael Stack is going to go out there. He's going to put pressure on with the striking, get Jackson Filho's back to the cage, and maybe go. He likes to do this thing where he goes jab, or he goes for the jab 1-2, then you go down for the double leg takedown, pull you off, and then just drop you against the cage. start ground pounding you, and look for the finish. That's exactly what I see happening here. Michael Stack coming off a second round ground pound TKO, first round rear naked submission, second round submission, and another first round TKO. This fight, I do see that Michael Stack is literally just going to take him down over and over and over again, and either TKO him or submit him in the first or second round. Really easy prediction in my opinion. One of the guys in the comment section is saying, so this is a gimme. I would say so. Michael Stack by domination, probably ground upon TKO or submission. Just, I'm going to say inside the distance for Michael Stack. Way better wrestling, way better grappling, and honestly, he also has the better striking, so domination win for Michael Stack right here inside the distance. Daniel Argueta and Rodney Mondala in the co-main event of LFA 116, Fremd versus Valente. The Rodney Mondala with 6 wins and 3 losses, has a lot of decision wins on the record, but he does have a second round knockout win right there, and then another second round knockout. But the main way that he's gonna win the fight is of course gonna be in the striking. There's no way he's gonna out wrestle, out grapple, out judo Daniel Argueta. That's just not gonna happen. If he's gonna win the fight, he's gonna need to use his explosive striking, stay on the outside, stay away from the takedowns of Daniel Argueta, do not get clinched with Daniel Argueta, stay on the outside, and look to land a big shot and maybe knock out Daniel, but I don't see that happening. Daniel Argueta's grappling and wrestling is just really solid. He's coming off a loss on the Ultimate Fighter against Ricky Tercios, the winner of the Ultimate Fighter by unanimous decision, but before that, decision win over Jackson Filho, who's also on the card, Roger Stevenson, Ronnie Davila. A lot of the wins by ground upon TKO or by rear naked choke submission. I'm going to actually predict a finish right here. I believe Rodney Mondala's grappling and wrestling is far worse than Daniel Argueta. Daniel is going to go out there, get the fight to the clinch, get that body lock, and then just trip Rodney Mondala down, get into side control, ground upon a little bit. Rodney Mondala is going to give his back, Daniel's going to get the back, and he's going to latch in that rear naked choke submission. Maybe he latches in an arm triangle, maybe he gets an arm bar, maybe he gets a guillotine. I don't know what submission he's really going to get, but my prediction right here is going to be Daniel Argueta, putting the pressure on the striking, getting the fight to the clinch, judo throwing Rodney Mondala down, and either submitting him or ground upon TKOing him in the first or second round. A really good fight in the co-main event of the bantamweight division. Josh Fremd and Renato Valente in the main event of the middleweight division. Renato Valente, I don't know where he wants this fight to go. 8 wins and 4 losses, coming off a decision win over Chibukam Onyenjeka, who was an undefeated fighter at the time. Abraham Vasu is another really solid win. Ricardo Chavez, Omar Gutierrez, only losing recently to Mark Martin, who's a very solid wrestler and striker. Got 1 knockout win, 4 submission wins, and 3 decision wins. So maybe the best way of him winning might be in the grappling and wrestling game. I do believe Josh Fremd is going to destroy him in the striking. There's no way I see Renato Valente out-striking Josh Fremd. Josh has a really good counter left hook, a really good overhand right. To say overall, very powerful striker overall. First knockout win, first knockout win, first knockout win, decision, submission, and knockout. He's got grappling as well, but he's got a lot of power. Those 3 knockouts right there, very fast and very powerful knockouts shown inside the LFA right there. But the grappling and the wrestling, I do believe will be able to sustain Josh Fremd. I think he'll be able to defend whatever takedowns come his way from Renato Valente. This fight will stay on the feet, and Josh Fremd overall being the taller fighter, the lengthier fighter by 2.5 inches than by 4 inches, being the more powerful fighter, being the faster fighter, being the guy that throws even more volume, the better counter puncher. I mean, there's literally no way I really see Renato Valente winning. Maybe he can out grapple, maybe he can out wrestle, but in the striking, I do think that Josh Fremd is going to go out there and absolutely destroy Renato Valente, because again, there's not really that much of a threat of him getting knocked out. Yeah, he is coming off a knockout loss to Gregory Rodriguez, but that's Gregory Rodriguez. This is Renato Valente, who does not have very many knockout wins on his record. Only 1 knockout win a very long time ago. So I see this fight going all the way. Actually, is it a 5-rounder? 1 second. It is a 3-round fight, so I'm going to say the fight does go all the way. Renato Valente, out of those 4 losses, he does have decision loss, a decision loss, 3rd round knockout loss, and then a 1st round knockout loss right there. So it could definitely be a knockout win for Josh Fremd, but I'm going to say the fight goes all the way, and Josh Fremd wins the fight by a 30-27 decision, outstriking him for 3 straight rounds. Easy prediction in the middleweight division. But yeah, guys, that is my LFA 116 full card prediction for Fremd versus Valente. I guess Josh Fremd winning his fight by a decision, Daniel Argueta just inside the distance by ground upon TKO, or by a rear naked choke submission, Michael Stagg inside the distance, Marcin Mann by a decision, Jalin Fuller by knockout, Talunzic by a decision, and Jacobi Jones most likely inside the distance. Those are my full card prediction for LFA 116 Valente versus Fremd. Put your predictions in the comment section below, like the video, subscribe to the channel, and everything like that, and we'll see you in the next video. Let's go.